Hi YouTube. I just got done eating 2 bowls of Cocoa Pebbles. My stomach's hurting. I don't know why I wanted to share that with you. I had a craving. Anyways, I wanted to make a video about Medicaid, and it's kind of a serious video because I'm a little PO'd about a few things, and I think it all started a couple of months ago. Jeremy either received a comment on one of his videos or he received an email or something along those lines where somebody said, "Hey, I'm a taxpayer, where's my thanks?" Basically is what they had to say. They said, "Why aren't you thanking the taxpayers?" Well, let's go over everything here. Okay, first of all, I want to thank everyone, okay? I want to thank the taxpayers. I want to thank anybody who ever sent a card, well wishes, money, letters, phone calls, what have you. Thank you very much for all the support that we've ever received, all the comments, emails, everything, okay? But whenever I say thank you to the taxpayers, I'm saying thank you to the people who who wish Jeremy the best, okay? Knowing that the taxpayers' money was going towards the Medicaid that was providing him the services that he needed. Now, see, he was on Ohio Medicaid, which pays like 100% of just about everything. It didn't pay all of his medications. It didn't pay all of his supplies when he came home. There's a lot of stuff that came out of pocket, but all of his hospitalization bills, surgeries, everything while he was in the facilities was basically taken care of. Now, why that upset me is because if you really think about it, okay, Ohio Medicaid is supported through taxes, okay? So the government decides what to do with the taxes and disperses it however they decide or whatever, and Medicaid, gets some of that money. Well, now we have to think about this, okay? This may sound really rude, but this person was expecting a thanks from Jeremy for something that he had to do. Okay, he didn't choose if that money went to Jeremy or not. In fact, that specific amount that he gave may not have even gone to Jeremy at all. It may have gone to fix a road for all we know, right? But it just really irked me because he wanted a thanks for something that he was forced to do by the government, right? I mean, Jeremy didn't ask him for that money specifically. And it just really kind of got to me because, the government decides what to do with the taxpayers' money and where it goes to and how much is dispersed, and it's not Jeremy's fault that the health insurance that he was eligible for is funded by the taxpayers. So it just really kind of got to me because they're expecting, you know, just appreciation for something that the government kind of forces upon them anyway. Whether it goes to Jeremy or not, if it didn't go to Jeremy, it would have went to somebody else, basically in his shoes. And I have 2 stories real quick to share with you that kind of shows how sometimes money is thrown around with Medicaid. And these 2 incidences are with Jeremy. Jeremy was in the hospital for 5 months, okay, in the ICU. Then he went on to the nursing home for 9 months. Well, about 1 month before he left the hospital to go into the ICU, he was about ready to go home. And the doctors were discussing about sending him to a nursing home. Well, he had a trach that was attached to a respirator, and there was a hose that attaches the tube because it was breathing for him. Well, in this tube, I could see some water sloshing about. So we had a male nurse at night, and I remember asking him, I said, "How often does that tube get changed?" And he said, "Well, that tube should be changed about every 5 to 7 days, but his hasn't been changed for about a month." And I said, "Why is that?" Because I'm looking at this water, I'm thinking, well, bacteria is going to grow in that because it's just sitting there, right? And he said, because he's on Medicaid, and I'm a taxpayer, and that tube costs $500. Well, guess what? That tube didn't get changed. Jeremy got pneumonia and had to stay in the hospital for an additional month. A $500 tube or the cost of keeping him in the hospital for 1 month with all medications, antibiotics, doctors, every time they walk in the room, that's money out of pocket, right, just right there. They charge you, they go right to the computer, just like that, so they're charging Medicaid. It probably costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for Jeremy to stay in the ICU for one additional month instead of just giving him a $500 tube. Okay? Another example is he had this thing called a wound vac that goes on to open wounds. It helps to basically pull suction. Okay? It sucks and draws fresh blood up to the surfacing tissue. Okay, and it helps wounds to close faster. It's the easiest way to explain it. Anyways, these machines, they can be rented out, right? And it's very simple to take care of. Whenever we went to the nursing home, I'm the one that showed them how to use it. Really simple, okay? And basically, they told him that he could have gone home with a wound vac, okay, earlier. Like, instead of going to the nursing home, he could have just gone straight home with a wound vac. But Medicaid would not pay for a wound vac to be inside of a home. It had to stay in a facility. So he ended up in a nursing home for 9 months with respiratory care, with, I can't even imagine how much money they spent instead of Medicaid renting a wound vac for about, like 3 months or so at the house, or send him to a facility and pay all that money for him to be there. It's really absolutely I was gonna say ridiculous, and that was, yeah, I almost said delicious. It's ridiculous because Medicaid sometimes just doesn't make any sense. It's the same as with the whole tilt table issue, Medicaid would rather send him to a facility, keep him in a facility as an inpatient to use a tilt table there, instead of renting one for him at the home, and that's all they have to pay for is rent a tilt table for like a month or two, or send him to a facility for 6 months, Medicaid sometimes just does not make any sense. And sometimes I understand Medicaid, they want to make sure that the person, I don't want to say deserving, but there's a lot of people out there who are trying to hurt, abuse the system. And there's people out there who aren't disabled that are getting money, and so on and so forth. But he truly was, and he really needed the assistance, and for the most part, we really got it through Medicaid. But whenever I hear something like that from that one person, that, they wanted gratitude and thanks for being a taxpayer, which this person may not even been from Ohio anyways, because he was on Ohio Medicaid, so this person could have been in an entirely different state, which has absolutely nothing to do with Jeremy whatsoever, and part of his tax money may not have even provided any care for Jeremy. But it's just, it really hurts me because whenever you pay into something like taxes, that's not a choice. That's something that you have to do, and therefore it's like, it was really like a personal hit, and we're grateful for everything that we've ever received. If we didn't have Medicaid, Jeremy couldn't have had the surgery in the first place, or I don't know, a lot of things. It would have gone back even further than that would not have been provided to him that he needed. But it's really a shame, and it's a shame that sometimes our systems are flawed and things aren't perfect or 100%, and there's those of us like myself who have no health care at all, and either I go to a free clinic that, it takes you 6 months to get in for a common cold, or you don't see anyone at all and you just fight it out, and that's usually what I end up doing, so it's really a shame. I just wanted to share that with you. Have a nice day.